What is up with Star Citizen? Welcome to this video where I would like to explain a little bit about Star Citizen, the very large project, of course, from Chris Roberts, the guy behind Wing Commander. And also I would like to express my own thoughts because a lot has been said and been published about Star Citizen nowadays. So I hope I can inform the ones who are completely new to Star Citizen and also maybe learn the old veterans who are playing this game for quite a long time already a little bit, perhaps some more things they didn't really knew yet about this game, this huge project. And with Star Citizen, I don't only mean Star Citizen itself, but also the single player game Squadron 42, because that's also something definitely which should not be forgotten. On the background you will see some random footage of me just messing around the planet of Hurston, so I have something as a background, and the background music is actually a rip from the Star Citizen soundtrack from the alpha, so we have something to watch while we are doing this video. So let's start where a lot of people will start when they're trying to look up for information, that is Wikipedia. So let's just see what Wikipedia has to tell us about Star Citizen. So, first of all, we start, of course, with general information that it is a multiplayer space trading and combat game, and it is being developed by the guy behind Wing Commander, Chris Roberts, that perhaps some of you guys know. And, of course, Star Citizen has been known for the large crowdfunding, and here it says it's been gathered over $250 million, but I thought now they almost had $290 million, and, of course, the funding is still growing. They're still selling in-game stuff. They're still selling ships already, even as expensive as $2,000 if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's really something huge. I think this is the largest crowdfunded game ever, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, with that kind of money, you would almost say it's probably one of the most expensive games ever made. But I know in an example that Red Dead Redemption was also very expensive, over $500 million, something like that. So it's not the most expensive game ever, but it is definitely a large funded game. So also not to be forgotten, like I said, Squadron 42 is also going to be released, and I'm going to get back to that later because it's actually really interesting, and I never really hear a lot of people talk about it. It's always about Star Citizen. So the Wikipedia describes what's currently in the game. That's like a hangar module, an arena commander. Let's see. So this is where you're able to do some space combat simulator, and like you know from the early days, and which can be done in Elite Dangerous, an example. In the hangar module you're able to watch your ships, and Star Marine is like a first-person shooter mode. So the universe itself is like the alpha version, and yeah, what we have right now, we have two visitable planets, if I'm not mistaken, and that's ArcCorp and Hurston. And Hurston actually got a nice city of Lorville, and ArcCorp got Area 18, where you are able to walk around. So that's pretty cool. Then like I said before, I'm going to get back to Squadron 42. Here you can see the development, which is pretty interesting. And yeah, as I said before, this project started in 2011. I mean, and it was supposed to be released in, here it says 2014. I thought Chris Roberts says 2015, but now we're even 4 years further. So yeah, I mean, also here you can see the controversy about it. So what is this controversy then? Why are people sometimes saying Star Citizen is a huge scam, even when we have this alpha version, which looks really absolutely cool and absolutely something new? Apart from that, of course, this game was supposed to be released in 2015 or 16 whatsoever, but now we're at 2019 and this game still is an alpha. We only have like 2 planets which we can visit, and a couple of moons, of course, but why is this taking so long? The funny thing is that Chris Roberts originally promised like 100 galaxies, and now we only have still 1 galaxy, which is still not finished and still is very buggy. So something definitely is going wrong, and one of the things which could explain this, of course, is that they were implementing a lot of extra features which were not originally planned. Of course, this is going to take a very long time, because if I have to if I have to tell you guys something from my own experience, I've been creating levels for Unreal and Unreal Tournament myself, and that was at the end of the 90s. And I have to say that those levels were relatively small comparing with the game with Star Citizen, of course, but even back then I encountered a lot of technical issues, sometimes when creating maps for Unreal and Unreal Tournament. I mean, sometimes you would have like these infinite loopholes in walls and floors, and sometimes you were not able to just fix it. Then usually what you had to do was like, have to do a workaround, like an example, how can I explain this, like literally laying a brand new floor over the floor which had an infinite loophole in it. And you can imagine a game like Star Citizen, which is not a closed level, it is a universe with literally cities, large cities on planets in the universe. You can encounter adding all these extra features in your game is something which really doesn't help the scheduled time where this game was supposed to be released. So what the guys did from Chris Roberts, they start adding features and features and features, and when the crowdfunding, was getting higher and higher, more features were added, and I think they were at a point where they were thinking perhaps to themselves, what have we done, They hugely overestimated all the technical issues which happened along this huge project, which is already huge by itself. So again, I mean, 100 galaxies were promised, and we only have like one galaxy so far. So that's one thing. The other thing is pretty interesting because Forbes had released an article, I thought a couple of weeks ago or something, about Star Citizen, where they spoke actually some old employees, and there was an employee who told Forbes that Chris Roberts wasn't really managing this project pretty well. I mean, one of those ex-employees actually was busy one entire year creating only a shield for one specific ship. Yes, let that sink in. He was taking a year to complete a shield for a specific ship. So that pretty much explained. That's a really good example what mismanagement is. And I'm not really sure, because I have no idea what's going on at the company of Chris Roberts, but I'm not really sure if he is still just, know what he's actually doing. I mean, I'm not really sure if he's like a real manager. Maybe he should just hire some very, very well capable project managers to actually perhaps take the managing part from him and let this project, set it back on course maybe. Maybe they're just off course and set off course. I mean, of what they were originally planning to. And I mean, this is something which perhaps is stacking up, and for that we're now in 2019 already, and there's still not really an end in sight of Star Citizen. I mean, maybe if they would stop adding features and particle effects, stuff like that, and maybe for once start finishing things. Start by finishing this galaxy. I mean, now we have all the wonderful graphic effects. Start fixing bugs, because, I mean, to be honest, I've been in love with this alpha version. I really love the exploration of planets, and I think this is something which has not been done ever on this scale. I really believe that, and I really see the potential in this project. But for God's sake, please start finishing things, start smashing bugs, start creating content. And what they should do, maybe, if there's really no end in sight, because 100 galaxies at this rate is really impossible to have as a serious deadline, and a serious thing that they want to have in a game when it's about to be released. They should not focus on that. I think what they should do for Star Citizen is the following. They should focus on this galaxy, maybe another galaxy, 2 galaxies, if they're able just to add content, start creating planets, NPCs, missions, stuff like that. Because what I've played so far are a couple of missions, like 2 or 3 missions, and all of them bugged at a critical point. And that's something truly unimaginable by, knowing that this game has been developed since 2011 and it's still in alpha, and, even for the very few missions which are in the game, all of them for me bugged. So that's really really something they should definitely take care of. So that's a little bit of the explanation. I think what people say, it is a scam. I mean, I don't think Chris Roberts and his guys originally intended, of course, this to be a scam. They had the best intentions, and it's like a little bit when you checking out Fire Festival, you know. Perhaps you know that story about From Ja Rule and that other guy who were planning this ultimate festival, but eventually they were living in their own bubble because they eventually realized it was impossible for the amount of funds they had to create a festival like that. And I'm not saying Star Citizen is going to end up, because Star Citizen definitely showed something so far, which is something I have never seen before in video games. But it's not all bad. I mean, if we check out the website of Star Citizen itself, we see the following. We now see there is a roadmap available, and from what I've seen the first part here at March 31, 2018. You know, that's only been like 6 months ago that there is actually a roadmap. I mean, if I'm mistaken about this, sorry, March 31, 2018, that's actually more than a year ago. I'm sorry, I take that back. But, I mean, only like a year ago this has started. I mean, maybe if I'm mistaken, please let me know that in the comments. But from what I've seen, this roadmap originally started 3 years after the game should have been finished. But anyway, what they've done so far and why I still believe in Star Citizen is that we can see now per quarter of the year what they're going to add. So that means there's definitely something, there are definitely things which are added. And as you can see here in the current version, that's 3.5.0. I mean, especially locations and of course characters are also interesting. But especially locations, now in example, we have an entire new moon, there are actually 2 moons, and we have a landing zone in R-Corp. And this was really something huge. I mean, if you have played the alpha, of course, you know how super impressive this was. Absolutely impressive. And also you can see a lot of other things here, like gameplay, AI, ships and vehicles, stuff like that. So this is definitely something hopeful for the future. However, I mean, this goes all the way to 3.0.9 and Q1 2020, and that's, again, we're then a year ahead. I mean, a year goes pretty fast. And what we see now, only there are new locations, which is great, of course, but this is nowhere near the 100 galaxies that has been promised. I mean, this is still in the first galaxy. I mean, Crusader is in the current galaxy, which we are right now. So, yeah, I mean, this is all really good, but this is no way near a actual beta. I mean, that's why I said before, maybe they should focus on the starting a beta maybe in 2021. I mean, as you can see here, Q1 2020, it's only then they have like 3 quarters until it is 2021 again. So maybe they should just focus on this universe and maybe start creating a constant updated game, like an example World of Warcraft is, and it will constantly be updated. The only problem with that, in my opinion, is the model of funding. I mean, because then I hope they will be able to do it with microtransactions like they're doing right now without being in pay to win. But of course, you know, the question is then, what has been promised with content, will it ever be delivered after they have released a version? But they definitely should have a long-term vision, and I'm really hoping maybe Chris Roberts is going to share that at the next CitizenCon. So before we are going to my true hope, where I'm really excited about Squadron 42, let me end this part of Star Citizen by telling you guys what I really think about Star Citizen so far. I mean, yeah, the fact that they originally aimed for a release in 2014 and later 2015-16, and this game is still in alpha, really is something which I think has to do, first of all, with mismanagement. Of course, there are definitely technical issues, and they really hugely underestimated this project when they start adding all these technical possibilities and features and all. But then again, you know, eventually you have to start creating content apart from the bug fixing, because like I said before, I've done 3 missions so far and all 3 were game breaking when I did try to do them, because there were bugs, major bugs in the quests. And I mean, after all these years when the game was originally intended to be released, there are still bugs in this, major bugs actually, in the only few missions we have so far. I mean, the missions we only have like, I don't know, 20 or something, and they're all not really super special. Maybe that's not true. Maybe we have a lot more. If that's so, please let me know that in the comments. But from what I've seen so far, the missions which were available for me, there were not a lot of them. And I mean, if they're still like super bugged, I mean, there is definitely something wrong. There's definitely something which could have been done a lot better. And further, from what I've read, is they're outsourcing a lot. And I mean, maybe they should just hire better project managers which have a lot of experience in large projects like these. I mean, that's really money well spent, because I mean, sometimes it's really hard to understand what's going on there and at the Chris Roberts studio. But I mean, that's something, I think they hugely underestimated this project. But I do have hope for this project, because this is something we have never seen before. At least I haven't. I mean, I'm 33 years old now and I've never played anything like this. Planetary landings, you know, landing just on moons, space traveling, and just the simple things like visiting cities. I mean, they're definitely not simple things, because these cities are definitely something next generation as well. And these are cities on a planet, and just simple things like, you know, flying in space, just turning the power on your spaceship and just laying an example in bed here on my 300i and watching through the windows in space. That's something super immersive, and that definitely gives me a feeling which I never had before in a video game. Also, like here, like you've seen in this background footage, we're just, you know, freely traveling around a planet. You know, we can land anywhere, and that's something definitely hopeful for the future of next generation gaming. But Star Citizen really should get their things right. They should start seriously asking themselves, when do we want to release a beta? And even I don't even dare to think about when they really want to release a full game, because that's not something which is probably going to happen in a very long time. A release date, I have no idea, really. Probably nobody has. Probably even Chris Roberts has no idea about the release date. But I mean, the project so far is definitely something. The alpha version is definitely something we've not seen so far. So I do have hope, but I don't have hope for a very early release date. I'm not thinking about something within 5 years. I think maybe 2025, who knows. I think the Elder Scrolls 6 will be released earlier, and maybe GTA 6 as well, before we will see this project being finished. And what they should not forget are that these graphics in 5 years are probably, you know, normal. So they should not forget that engines and graphics in video games are getting outdated pretty fast. Also, this was a pretty funny scene, by the way, when I'm just watching this now. I turned off my engine because I just want to check out. I turned off the actual power of the ship because I wanted to check out the planet from my windows. And then I started to realize that I was actually in gravity and my ship was falling through the planet. So I was just able to save it pretty fast. But these are the things which can happen as well in Star Citizen. Those are so cool things. And yeah, being 33 years of age and still find this something super, super amazing and fascinating tells something about this potential of the game. So enough talk about Star Citizen, let's go to Squadron 42. So we have this nice little overview here of Squadron 42, and let me explain you a little bit about Squadron 42. As I said before, it's a single player campaign in the universe of Star Citizen. What that actually means is I have no idea. I mean, like the universe as in the universe we have so far. So, you know, like the planets of Hurston, Arcorp, stuff like that. I have no idea. But let me start. What is interesting so far is that there will be actors doing characters like nobody less than Gary Oldman, you know, Gary Oldman, I mean, the legendary actor. Mark Hamill, of course, Luke Skywalker from Star Wars, that is. Of course, also legendary actor Liam Cunningham, I mean, and Andy Serkis, not to forget. I mean, those are actors which are doing the biggest Hollywood movies, and we all know them. So that is, for a start, already super exciting that they are doing characters. But then again, let's check this overview, because when we check this overview in comparison with Star Citizen, as you can see here, we have a list here of things which have been finished so far. I mean, this is really good, looking good. Everything has been finished over, all these chapters are already in a state that they're near somewhat of a completionist part, if I have to say it like that. But we actually see an end date here for a beta, and that is Q2 of 2020, which means next year. Really, finally, we will have something which is about to be released, or at least planned then, but it's already pretty close. I mean, in less than a year, we are already at Q2 2020, which means maybe they focused on Squadron 42 to be actually releasing something. They're about to release something, and that's not going to be Star Citizen so far. It's going to be Squadron 42, which is really exciting because, to be honest, I don't really care that much about the multiplayer aspect of the game. Personally, I'm a single-player guy myself, and in the universe of Star Citizen, that is something amazing. I mean, I could just role-play in the world of Star Citizen, and for that, Squadron 42 has a beta release in Q2 of 2020, and the alpha is actually starting in Q1 2020 with some optimization. But I'm aiming for the beta, guys, because that's something where we want to go to. I mean, that is really something close. And then probably, hopefully, let's say it like that, this game will be released at the end in Q4 2020. So we have a product and Q4 2020, hopefully, because I can't really imagine they're taking more than half a year from beta to the final game. I mean, and at the worst state, it's about to be released in 2021, and that's still going to be before the Elder Scrolls 6, so that's good. And let's see about the features. So here we also see a lot of things which are happening so far in Squadron 42. And I have to be honest, I really didn't check it so far, but this is the same style as Star Citizen, as you can see here. So a lot of things are happening right now, and we can't really see locations here because, that's probably like secret and all. But again, the alpha is about to be released in Q1, and then the difference between the alpha from Star Citizen and Squadron 42 is that we have a beta planned in Q2 of 2020. So hopefully this will be released in Q4 2020, a real game which we can touch. So with Squadron 42, we're coming to an end of this video. I would like to point out that I am a really new player to Star Citizen, or at least the alpha which has been released so far. And there are mostly two camps in Star Citizen. There are like the people who are shouting it's a scam, it's a money-grabbing scam, stuff like that. And there are people who really want to believe, and maybe are a little bit blind for the project, that it is going to be alright. And I am a person which probably stands in between. I mean, it's not really a scam. I mean, I think they are still doing this project with the best intentions, but they have to be careful not to wait that long for this project, because after 5 years, I mean, this is starting to get outdated. At least not outdated for now, but we will have games which have these graphics by standard, and they have to be careful about that, not taking it too long. But I mean, there is hope with Squadron 42. We hopefully can expect it to be released in the end of 2020. So that is something to be really excited for, especially with all the famous actors, I said before, doing NPCs. And I really think this is something next gen. But then again, they don't want to they really have to release it by then. I mean, don't wait too long for it, guys. Chris Roberts, if you're watching it, probably not, but if so, please don't wait too long for it. And what I forgot, I said that it will be released in episodes, but the first episode was very long, with over 70 missions already, and also with about something like 30 hours of gameplay already. and that's hopefully that includes not space traveling and all that stuff, and wandering around the cities and planets and all. So I do really have hope for this project, as in Squadron 42, and for Star Citizen. We have no idea when it's about to be released, but again, let's first wait for Squadron 42. Make sure you note the date in your agendas. Q4 2020. Let's hope we will be able to play it back then, and if not, well, then I'm just gonna make another video about it to inform you guys. So if you are completely disagreeing with me, if you're like a very experienced player who is there since 2012, then let me know what you think in the comments, and that counts, of course, for everyone. Let me know what you think in the comment section, because I'm really curious about your thoughts. So far, we are almost reaching half an hour, so that means I've really talked a lot, and I'm going to end this video by shutting up and let the rest of the gameplay do its work. If there's actually something interesting to see, I think I'm going to exit here at 0G, and then I'm entering my ship, and then we're going to close it. So I'm going to end this video by shutting up, like I said before, and see you guys at the next video. Take care and bye bye.